Hi, I'm Neil Holbert, and this is Running Ribashda. We're here in Manchester, New Hampshire at Boards and Brews, a local gaming bar and restaurant where you can roll some dice, eat some sandwiches, and have some drinks. Today, we're going to talk about stat blocks. Every dungeon master knows them. Every dungeon master needs them. Because ultimately, your players need to fight monsters. Where's the fun if they don't? So let's dive right into this. I've got my trusty core book set here. The Monster Manual. We love this book. And let's just open up, find something suitable. Your stat blocks. So, we're going to take a look at this ancient blue dragon because it has all the toys, so why shouldn't we? So, first off, top of the stat block, we have our armor class, hit points, and speed. These are the most basic of things that you're going to need to run your monsters. Going right below that, you have their stats. Strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. You're going to use these to know everything about your monster and how it operates, what its capabilities truly entail. We get into the rough up, you're looking at saving throws, skills, any vulnerabilities, resistances, or immunities that a monster might have, what special senses it has beyond the normal mortal's vision and scent and acuity. Then you look at the challenge rating. So your saving throws are going to tell you what kind of stuff this monster's good at defending against. Skills are going to be important, but usually you're just going to see a perception here. Maybe stealth or some other things that the monster's good at. Your perception's going to be an important one that you're going to come back to over and over again while running a monster. What it can see, what it perceives out of the party that's coming to get it. Your damage immunities, resistances, vulnerabilities are going to come into play, but not all the time. You know, a lot of players are going to look at a red dragon and say, I'm not going to throw fire at it. But you might even come into a point where your party doesn't have the capability to throw the damage or condition that a monster is immune to or has resistance to. That's going to happen sometimes. A good dungeon master, a great dungeon master, will pick monsters that play into what the party can do, but will also challenge their party sometimes by throwing a monster at them that they don't know how to deal with. Moving further down, we have our special traits, from legendary resistances to extra senses that aren't included in the senses area, such as keen sight or smell. It might include something wacky, such as, death burst or something like that. False appearance. Other information that's going to be important about running the monster that isn't necessarily tied into what it does during combat. Then, under this heading, you have actions. Here's your bread and butter. This is what your monster does during the game on its turn during combat. If your monster has multi-attack, use the multi-attack. Use that multi-attack. That's why it was given to you. It's awesome. You don't have to hit one character with all of them, but you can. You could totally hit that level 17 barbarian with every bit of a dragon's multi-attack, and you are in your rights as a DM to do it. But if you declare all of that as you're doing it, you're already tied into it. Here's the thing. If you say, it's making its multi-attack, the first attack, its bite, is against this character. Its second claw attack is against this character. You can declare those attacks against the target as they come up in the order that they're performed. You don't necessarily have to say who the monster's going at with all of them right away. If we look a little further in, under action, sometimes we'll have equipment, such as a Kuotoa's net, or a trident, a weapon. A lot of times humanoid monsters use equipment instead of natural attacks. And you'll find that stuff listed under actions. And then we get into legendary stuff. Where's my lich? Where is my lich? Come on, Asarak, I know you're here. So legendary actions are a neat thing. These are extra things the monster can do on other creatures' turns. They're going to have a budget of legendary actions that they can spend over the course of a combat round. A round being a set of turns for all the creatures in a combat. The Lich has 3 legendary actions. Some of these things cost more than 1 action to complete, but you get to do them on your opponent's turn. Use them, because they refill after the combat round is finished and completed. They reset every time the Lich's turn comes back around. He gets those 3 actions all over again for his legendary budget and gets to use them all over again. These are great. If you go a little bit further in, sometimes we have layer actions. Layer actions will be listed under the monster description. These are things that the monster can do outside of combat before the party even shows up in the monster's room to fight it. Before the monster's even encountered, you can use these layer actions to soften up the party and eat up their precious resources before they're tied into the fight. And that's a really, really fun tool to use. So sometimes, in the case of vampires, beholders, and other monsters, we have regional effects. Those are going to be things that affect the land around the monster's lair. And they can be really useful in building up the atmosphere and the feeling of going to fight this legendary creature before the players even come close to the lair. Some of these regional effects spread out 10 miles before the characters inhabit the lair. So you can be in a town miles and miles away from the monster's lair, and all of a sudden you're still seeing the effects of it just existing nearby. That's a really great tool for you to use to set the mood, the atmosphere, and get the players interested in going after this legendary thing for them to fight. So reading a stat block is an important skill that as a DM, you're going to build up. That's what's going to happen over time with you looking at the different monsters. Don't worry if you're going to stumble the first couple of times you look at a monster or run it. Eventually, you'll just have an innate sense of what all this means and how to run it great. And hey, even us old guys who've been running the game for forever mess it up. I once had a super epic beholder with 10 levels in Wizard. I expected that fight to last an hour and a half, and it was done in 2 minutes with 1 hit.